Viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, beside China-Pakistan economic corridor at which the work is on full swing, China and Pakistan are set to strengthen their economic ties even further by bolstering bilateral economic cooperation in all key areas, especially in coal to chemical technologies, petrochemical, oil and gas exploration, sustainable industrial development, renewable energy, agriculture, space technology, and regional connectivity through Gawada Port. Ongoing Pakistan-China economic cooperation is further going to enhance with the expected and most likely visit of the Chinese Prime Minister Li Qiang. This visit is very important, especially in terms of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Council of Heads of Governments meeting, but also regarding the bilateral economic cooperation. As Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif just recently at the Chinese National Day not only reiterated but also strengthened that the bond between Pakistan and China is unshakable and unbreakable. We are going to discuss today the current and proposed different projects going on in the economic arena. Particularly, we are going to discuss the petrochemical and the oil and gas exploration, the bilateral cooperation for mining and agriculture, renewable energy, and lots of other fields. To discuss this very important topic, we have in our studios Dr. Manzoor Ahmad. He is the former ambassador to the World Trade Organization and the senior fellow at the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, PIDE. Most welcome to you. And we have also Saira Ijaz. She is the analyst and editor at the Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad. Most welcome to you, Saira. Thank you very much for joining us. And online joining us, senior journalist from Beijing, China, Shen. He is also the expert on Belt and Road Initiative. Most welcome to you, Shen. Thank you very much for joining us today online. So I'll start from you, Shen, that ongoing cooperation between Pakistan and China is vital for Pakistan's economic development. Just recently on Chinese National Day here in Islamabad, whole of the Pakistani leadership was there. The Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said a historic word over there, and that was that Pakistan and China bond of friendship, love and affection is unbreakable and unshakable. And that was in presence of the Western diplomats. Although there is a phenomena from the West that West wants to snatch Pakistan from China because of their containment of China policy, and as a result, lots of things are going against the China-Pakistan economic corridor, against the interest of Pakistan's economy inside Pakistan as well. And one of the example is the terrorism. How you see the whole gambit of this international politics going on against China and Pakistan?
Personally, I'm fully agree with Pakistan Prime Minister's words that China-Pakistan friendship is unshakable. And as everybody knows that from my childhood, we know the friendship between China and Pakistan is higher than the mountains and deeper than ocean. And what is China's stance on the recent deadly terrorist attack happened in Karachi? As you can see from my latest tweets, that China and Pakistan, the cooperation is still very strong. And from China's statement that the terrorism is a common enemy of humanity, and the attempts of terrorist forces to undermine China-Pakistan cooperation and the CPEC will not succeed. And China will continue to support Pakistan's counter-terrorism efforts and stands ready to work with Pakistan to foil any attempts to sabotage the bilateral cooperation.
So, Shen, when we are talking about the Pakistan and China economic cooperation, it is important that there must have to be a peace and stability in Pakistan to grow. And Pakistan's government is trying hard to have that. We have started Azme Istehkam operation against the terrorists, and Also, there are lots of mayors going on. So how do you see particularly the inimical forces and the enemies of Pakistan-China relation to disrupt these relations, particularly the economic relations between the two countries? Because we have seen wherever the Chinese and the Pakistanis are working on the CPEC projects or the non-CPEC projects in cooperation with Beijing, there is a troublesome and the problematic issue. So how do you see to tackle all these issues and how this cooperation will be extended to the security matters?
Yes, first, of course, we are very appreciate the efforts and the sacrifice for the Pakistani forces in protecting all these kind of CPEC projects and all the personnel both from China and Pakistan on those projects. So,
Shen, we also salute the Chinese citizens who are actually sacrificing for Pakistan's economy, for Pakistan's strength, for Pakistan's development. We salute them because we are very much heartbreaking. It is really unfortunate that two of the Chinese and whole of the Pakistani nation felt that as a jolt, because this is happening with Chinese engineers or the Chinese citizens wherever they are working. Every Pakistani is with our Chinese brothers and sisters, and we are really thankful to all of them who are, despite of all dangers, all threats, they are working in Pakistan. And Pakistani security forces, Pakistani armed forces are trying hard to protect all those here in Pakistan. So we salute them as well.
Yes, and in terms of the counterterrorism efforts, the Chinese solution is always development the local economy and to eradicate the roots of this kind of terrorism. So that is the Chinese solution. So that's why you can see in the past decades, the CPEC has flourished and lifted a lot of people out of poverty and creates a lot of jobs and business opportunities. So that will boost a lot of momentum in the economic growth. So that will help the locals to get more benefits and to keep them away from the threats of this kind of security threats and also terrorism. So the other part is that so some forces are behind those kind of terrorists, and they just use them as the proxies against the China and the Pakistan. So that's why China-Pakistan counterterrorism cooperation is so essential. So that's all will also be prioritized in the coming cooperation in the years.
So how do you see, what about the China's National Development and Reform Commission, NDRC, proposed a 5-year plan which is based on, first of all, the security of the Chinese nationals. Along with that, there are lots of projects, even the small projects in different areas of Pakistan, different regions of Pakistan, to uplift the society. Basically, those are the socio-economic projects like hospitals, like schools, like colleges, like vocational training institutes, like roads and all that. So how do you see that overall gambit of the 5-year plan given by the NDRC?
As we know, security is the foundation for development and also for any kind of investment, either for the state-owned enterprises and also for the private-owned enterprises. So
Definitely.
Security is the top priority, especially to build a very good environment for investment. So that's why you see the NDRC has prioritized the security of the Chinese personnel, the projects, and also other international employees who are working on those projects. That also includes the safety of Pakistani employees in those projects. So you see the priority is there, the security, as especially you see following the deadly terrorist attacks. Everyone is alert about this security. So only to address these kind of threats will help Pakistan to attract more foreign direct investment and to push the projects, especially like the hydropower and other projects, to proceed and flourish in the CPEC.
Definitely, you are absolutely right on that aspect. Your point well taken. Saira, how do you see the security of Chinese nationals, as Pakistan is trying hard to have foolproof security, but inimical forces in the terrorist organizations have international support? And in that perspective, what do you think that how Chinese nationals particularly must have to be protected across the country, as we have just witnessed yet another unfortunate attack in Karachi?
Gee, definitely it's a very, very volatile situation right now in terms of security of Chinese personnel in Pakistan. We should admit this fact. However, the government and the state of Pakistan is trying really hard by implementing more police presence and implementing strict protocols. But irrespective of that fact, the terrorist organizations and those forces which are not in favor of stability, bringing stability in Pakistan, are creating mayhem, particularly in the provinces of Balochistan and in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. However, we need to take up this issue on a very, very high and a serious level, which the government of Pakistan is taking. And we should be thankful to our Chinese brothers and sisters and the government of China that who really understand and are cooperating with us in this matter. However, what I suggest is that increased security measures should be taken in view. In addition to that, the intelligence sharing between the two countries needs to be upscaled more to address this issue of security of the Chinese personnel in Pakistan. Then comes the community engagement. It's a very, very crucial and important step in my view, that the community members should be the locals of those areas, needs to be educated and needs to be involved.
Definitely, you have raised a very pertinent point when it comes to the ground intelligence. You are absolutely right that the ground intelligence along with the citizens,
cooperation of the local people is very important. Then comes the rapid response teams. It's very important. All those all those areas where the situation and the security or there is presence of foreigners, there should be a more presence of rapid response teams. So in case of any such incident, or the foreigners should be protected there and then. Then comes the last point is that the international support. Pakistan needs to highlight this issue, involve other international relevant stakeholders to highlight this issue, and so that we can
highlight the issue of terrorism, particularly because that is emanating from some of the international forces using the third country soil and inflicting terrorism upon Pakistan. And your point is very important regarding the ground intelligence, and policing must have to be strengthened, what you actually want to say. So, Dr. Manzoor, China and Pakistan jointly working on debt restructuring or reprofiling mechanism in energy sector that is approximately 16 billion US dollars. So Pakistan wants this to reprofile, and the China is in negotiation with Pakistan. China is sure to pull Pakistan out of difficulties. Would the reprofiling the debt and resolve power issues, and that is estimated that it would help Pakistan, if done, would give at least 4 to 6 rupees per unit cost of electricity relief to the masses. So do you think that first the reprofiling would be done, and if done, there would be some relief for the common masses regarding the electricity bills and all that?
Well, thank you. Yes, Pakistan did make a request for reprofiling. And just to clarify, reprofiling is different from restructuring. Okay. Reprofiling just means you ask for longer term or some such conditions. For example,
some sort of a breathing space.
Yes, I mean, for example, Pakistan is asking that this energy debts be the repayment period be extended by another 8 years. And also it's asking that the basic currency which was agreed, US dollar, should be the Chinese yuan, so change that, and some such things. But yes, this request has been made, but just if you saw in today's newspapers, the finance minister said that it's nothing immediately, nothing.
Definitely, definitely. It's under negotiation. It's in negotiation, but not immediately.
Not immediately. It might take weeks, months, or maybe years.
Maybe the longer period.
Yes, I mean, So yeah, I mean, if you know, this is quite huge amount, $16 billion for this, and so if that could be reprofiled, it will provide considerable relief to Pakistan. Yes,
definitely. So, what about the Pakistan's consistent trade deficit, not only with China but also in other terms, with other countries, that led to an unsustainable levels of the foreign debt, forcing Islamabad to seek constant rollovers from China and other friendly nations. So, although the trade deficit with China marginally shrunk to at least $3.58 billion during the current fiscal year, 24-25, especially during July-August, as compared to $3.74 billion in the same period in the last financial year, 23-24. So how do you see overall this trade deficit, and how we can get into the basically a trade surplus, or some sort of a mechanism in which we can get some relief from the exports to enhance towards China particularly?
well, I mean, it creates a lot of problems for Pakistan not to be able to match its imports with exports. I mean, our exports are around $32 billion, and our imports are could be 45, 50 billion. So there's a huge gap between the two. You know, it's trade deficit. Most developing countries who are in the process of growing do experience trade deficit unless they are producing oil or some natural resources, you know, things like that. Now, as regards trade deficit with China, it's quite natural because China is the world's, I should say, manufacturing. It's a world factory. I mean, so you look at any other country, for example, look at India and China's trade. Maybe the trade is, you know, huge. It's $130 billion. But India's exports to China are only about $20 billion. On the other hand, Chinese exports to India are about $110 billion. So you see huge $90 billion. But why does India, and still they have trade, is because, for example, both countries look for the, you know, the cheapest market, and also for export, for imports as well. And India buys from China because it feels that this is the cheapest source. If they go to another country, maybe the same product or whatever it is, machinery or whatever it is, will cost them more. And if you look at, say, Bangladesh and China trade, I think it's about similar volume as Pakistan, and the deficit is about, you know, something similar. So, and it's very difficult to see country by country deficit.
So, so Dr. Manzoor, do you think that we should have, because in the 5 years plan, what the NDRC China has given actually, so in that there is a sustainable industrial development as well. If you have a sustainable industrial development, the industrial base, so you have some sort of value added products, diversified exports, so that you can earn something regarding when we are talking about enhancing the trade volume between Pakistan and China?
Yes, first under the CPEC program, the first phase was more about you know, building roads and communication and
infrastructure development,
energy, etc. But the second phase was more about industrialization and agriculture. Hopefully, this will increase Pakistan's production capacity.
Definitely.
But what Pakistan needs to do is it needs to reform its trade policy. That you know, we have very high tariffs. There's a very anti-export policy currently, and hopefully the government is looking into it. That you know, they adjust this policy so that we are not only import consuming country, but also get into exports.
So your point well taken. Shen, Pakistan is engaged with China's largest state-owned enterprises for potential partnerships in the areas like investments in the joint ventures in coal to chemical technology, energy, petrochemical and sustainable industrial development. How such initiative will boost the value-added products from Pakistan's more than 180 billion tons of coal reserves, and earn diverse export benefits, and not only enhance the trade to China, but also to have the precious foreign exchange for country as well?
Yes, Previously, I was working for an energy company mainly on electricity generation, transmission, and also especially for the coal to chemical technology part. So I know this area quite well. So, for this kind of coal to chemical technology, it's very important for industrialization, especially for our daily lives. For example, if these kind of projects can succeed, and these projects will generate a lot of fertilizers that are essential for agriculture modernization, industrialization, and to produce enough food for people, and also to produce a lot of agricultural products for exports. So this kind of industry is like a foundation. And also from the China's China's energy-rich province, they are also doing this kind of transmission from coal to chemical technology. And also by expanding this kind of industrial chain, we can transform all this coal into chemical materials such as coal-based specialties, fuels, and also biomaterials. And also these kind of materials will be the foundation for like the clothes industry and also other materials for export and also for domestic use. So all this approach will not only reduce carbon dioxide emission, but also additional values to our products. And in the long term, that will help Pakistan to diversify its export and to increase its foreign exchange earnings.
So it means you are talking about that the green tech, that is basically based on the green technology, which will also enhance our environmental protection. So that is really viable. So when we are talking about environment friendly technologies, Pakistan becomes the second largest Chinese photovoltaic products market, and with year on year growth is 429.04%. Government aims to increase the share of renewable energy to 20% by 2025 and 30% by 2030, while the NEPRA's indicative generation capacity expansion plan 2047 report projects that Pakistan's photovoltaic installed capacity will reach 12.8 gigawatt by 2030 and 26.9 gigawatt by 2047, requiring an annual installation of 1.65 gigawatt and 1.07 gigawatt. So whether Chinese companies are going to invest in Pakistan to have joint ventures for the local manufacturing of the alternative energy products, including the photovoltaic cells and all that?
Yes, for my personal experience, previously I was working for Chinese energy companies, mainly for this PV part. I know the Chinese PV products, the panels and also other products are quite popular on Pakistani markets, and also China has assisted Pakistan in utilizing its abundant solar energy through green energy projects. For example, Chinese companies have built a massive solar power station in the Punjab desert to ease the shortage of electricity in Pakistan. But whether Chinese company will increase the investment is fully depend on the business feasibility study about the market and also local government's attractive policies, because building solar power industries needs a strong government strategy, and that is how China make a success in developing the world's largest solar PV industrial chain. So from my experience and also my personal suggestion is that Pakistan needs also to compete with other countries to attract investment in this kind of PV industry and also this green energy. And we know for the Chinese companies, some of them, they are already start to invest like the PV assembling and also other equipment. So those are very essential for the daily use in the local market, and especially to ease the power shortage, especially during the summertime and also the heating time. So those are quite essential, but in the long term, Pakistan is a very good market, and a lot of Chinese companies are seeking their business opportunities and local partners.
Yeah, definitely it is. You are absolutely right on that aspect. One last question, Shen, that during Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's last visit to China, both countries agreed on 5 sub-corridors like Growth Corridor, the Economic Development Projects Corridor, the Innovation Green Corridor, and regional connectivity corridor under the CPAC. What about the progress on these all corridors, particularly connecting the region with the CPAC projects and infrastructure all the way to Gawada?
Yes, as our guests have said earlier, that the infrastructure is the priority one in the phase one of CPAC. And
Obviously, very right.
Yes, in the phase two, like in the innovation, the green technology, and the regional connectivity are prioritized. From my knowledge, that the air link between Pakistan to western part of China is strengthened, especially to boost this kind of trade corridor, like to bring goods from Pakistan to Chinese market, to increase the income of for Pakistan businessmen and also for the companies and also the agricultural part. For example, in recent months, Pakistan's famous cherries now enter Chinese market. And also about the frozen seafoods from Gwadar port is getting popular in western part of China, and through this kind of the cold chains and also for this kind of facilitated transportation of this air link. The other part is about the free flow of prisoners, especially that is good for businessmen, as especially like the border areas and also the visa facilitation. That is also one big progress for both sides. And in terms of innovation parts, we know Chinese companies like the Huawei and ZTE and also other leading companies in Shenzhen, where Prime Minister has visited earlier, like their cooperation in this technology empowerment, especially for the young generations, will be accelerated, especially from those companies. They are going to put more investment for the education part, for the technology education, and also to have those talents to get better trained in China, and then have the local contribution to the local innovation industry, and especially for the technology part. So those are the latest progress I got from China.
Definitely, you are absolutely right, Shen. Very well contributed. Saira, what's your thoughts on the recent memorandum of understanding between the Chinese textile firm Ruyi Shandong with the Board of Investment to establish an international standard textile park in Sindh and Punjab to boost Pakistan's exports to at least $5 billion and create around 0.5 million jobs. It's estimated that around 100 Chinese textile firms would be invited to invest, and in some cases proposals were floated with the Chinese companies and to the investors as well.
I think this MOU is a very significant in terms of boosting textile sector in Pakistan. Establishing international standard textile parks can enhance production capabilities, improve quality, and attract more foreign investment. And this move aims to boost exports significantly, which could have a positive impact on the economy. And as you mentioned, that around 0.5 million job creation jobs will be created through this, if this is implemented in true letter and spirit. And again, inviting around 100 Chinese textile firms to invest could also, very important point is lead to technology transfer and knowledge sharing, which is crucial to, for the growth of the local industry.
Definitely.
But in addition,
very well said, very well said.
But
Dr. Manzoor, Pakistan has at least what the estimate is and what the projected or the potential exports are, that is $50 billion. The textile constitutes at least 60% to the total exports. The Chinese companies are interested to invest technology transfer and have innovative tools in the textile industry. Special Investment Facilitation Council is actually facilitating. Do you think that initiative would enhance the production of affordable raw material for the local textile industries to have value-added products, help diversify textile exports and rise the trade volume, but how to resolve the energy tariff and the rest of the issues of the textile industry?
Well, I think energy is a problem, but hopefully it's a temporary problem. I mean, we have several, hydroelectric projects coming online, and the solar energy, etc., renewable energy. So this, hopefully, this will be a transitional problem, and this will not. But what we have to do is that we have to integrate our economy globally and regionally. We have isolated ourselves, and that creates the problem. A country doesn't need to have all the raw materials, etc. Normally, Japan doesn't have any raw materials, and Korea doesn't have any raw materials. They import things, and then they value add, and they export it. But unfortunately, we have isolated ourselves too much, and that is our problem. And you mentioned $50 billion potential. Well, yes, the Prime Minister is saying that we should double our exports within the next 3 to 5 years. So 30 billion, he says we should go to 60 billion. But in fact, our potential could be anything. I mean, just a few years ago, you saw Vietnam was exporting the same amount as Pakistan, 5 billion, 5 billion. From 5 billion, we reached 30 billion, and they've reached more than 300 billion, 330 billion. So it's a matter of integrating with the rest of the world, and that's what improves exports, and not just that, okay, we grow some cotton and only depend on textile. I mean, we have to in our export basket has to be widened, and not just in one sector.
Definitely, you are absolutely right. Saira, just recently, Oil and Gas Development Company Limited, OGDCL, and the subsidiary of the China National Petroleum Corporation, CNPC, Shuangqing Drilling Engineering Company Limited, agreed to explore shale and tight gas potential in Pakistan. Do you think that it will open some of the new avenues and the new chapter in the oil and gas exploration in Pakistan through the indigenous resources? We should have the more chunk of oil and gas within the country.
Definitely, it would significantly boost our country's, Pakistan's energy landscape, and there is no doubt about it. And this interest of CCDC reflects growing interest in Pakistan's untapped potential of hydrocarbon resources. So we should not forget about it, that if successfully tapping into the shale and the tight gas resources could enhance our energy security to a greater extent. And I think it's a very, very promising thing, and overall it's a promising step towards diversifying and expanding Pakistan's energy portfolio, I would
Definitely.
say.
When we are talking about the last question, this is very important, Dr. Manzoor. What about Pakistan-China Space Cooperation? As just recently, with Chinese cooperation, Pakistan's first multi-mission satellite, Parksat MM1, successfully get operational, which connect the unconnected region with services like direct-to-home, DTH, community internet, tele-education, telemedicine, and enhance e-commerce, etc. Because such initiatives will help grow Pakistan through digital economy.
Yes, I mean, it's a big step forward towards achieving this digital Pakistan vision. I mean, it will greatly improve our internet connectivity, it will greatly improve our television coverage, and all those areas where this kind of connectivity is required. This was the second, I think, launch within that month, and it successfully entered the market. But there's a long background to it. I mean, Pakistan-China cooperation in this field, in satellite communication, started from 1990. So it's been more than 30 years now. And what the PM said, I mean, we are going far beyond cooperation on the borders to cooperation in space or something like that.
Yeah.
So this would also greatly help. Pakistan was trying to move from the global positions as GPS system of US to the Chinese system, what they call BDS, BIDU, universal satellite or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. You are absolutely right, because that ultimately gives us boost regarding the e-commerce, e-technology, e-governance, and all other aspects through through these satellites, and the digital economy is the future actually, and Pakistan has to be focused on that. Thank you very much, Dr. Manzoor, for your presence in the studios. Thank you very much, Saira, Ijaz, for your presence in the studios, and I'm really highly thankful to you, Shen, for your presence online all the way from Beijing. Thank you very much for your absolutely very marvelous question. Thank you very much for that. Viewers, as you have just listened to our panelists, it is important that Pakistan-China friendship is strengthening day by day with the economic cooperation, and that is the real essence through which Pakistan can grow and develop. Pakistan has to enhance the industrial base, have a cheaper energy, to diversify its exports, to have value-added exports, to diversify its exports particularly, and to earn more and to enhance trade volume, particularly towards China, because China is a huge market and Pakistan has a great potential to kept that market in that sense. Reform the trade policy, that is very important to enhance our trade spectrum overall. The coal to chemical technology will bring lots of energy to Pakistan, particularly in the fields of chemical technologies. It's a green technology, so enhance the environmental protection as well. Alternative energy and its products, that is very important. Pakistan not only wants to utilize these products for its energy needs, but also we can export these products to the outer world. And also it is important that the linkages, the road, rail and the air linkages with China, that is very important to enhance, and also with the Central Asian republics. We have to resolve the energy cost and supply to the industrial base as well. Oil and gas exploration will enhance Pakistan's local production, indigenous production, and at least we should have to exploit those resources to minimize the import bill particularly, which is mostly on the oil products. So space cooperation is going to be one of the very important aspects to enhance the digital economy of Pakistan through e-commerce and e-trade. That is also the crux of the upcoming Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council of Heads of Government meeting as well, because if we want to grow, we have to grow in the IT and the digital technologies. This is all from today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.